There you go, guys. Due to the overwhelming response I got about the colloids I made last week, I decided to make everybody a how-to video. To start off, some of the stuff you'll need. First off, you'll need something to measure your coal hoppers with. You could use roller, caliper, whatever you like. I use a steel rule because I like this because it has a measurement in 30 seconds. It gives me a nice tight fit for the coal load. Next, you'll need a hobby saw. You need a hobby saw. This will allow you to cut out the styrofoam, give you a nice clean cut. Next is serrated blade. This allows me to cut the foam or the contours in the foam. Pen, of course, or a pencil to make to measure your foam out. And a sanding block. And this will help make your contours a lot smoother. And of course, your scrap piece of foam. This is 3/4 inch. The only reason I'm using 3/4 inches is because that's what I had left over from the layout. You can use whatever thickness you like. This is nice because it gives you a nice little thick block on the, a nice little thick base within the coal hopper to keep it nice and sturdy. So just to shorten things up a little bit, we'll take a previously made one, and I'm just going to make an outline. And I'll take my straight edge. Make my first cut. And do my ends. Okay, and this is what you got left over. I'll take the sanding block, hit it a couple of times just to smooth everything up. And I take my hopper, just fit it in, and there you go. See, the other side's a little bit too big, so go like we had it. This is where I take my pen and or a pencil and I run it along the top of the car. And when I'm done, as you can see, there's a little black line. That piece right there is what stays inside the hopper. This is above the hopper. So because this is so thick, I take my saw, I cut it approximately in half, no measurements, just eyeball it, and that's what you have. I take my serrated blade, I run the back end of the blade along this line. That gives me the contour, or the bevel. And I do it for the other side, and both ends. And clean it up a little bit. And there's your rough coal load. This is just a rough copy of your coal load. You take your sanding block. I start on the ends. This is my personal preference. Get it to a contour I like. Move it to the other end. And there, and then I work on the middle. And there I have my finished coal load ready for paint. Next, what I'd use, let me clean this mess up a little bit. Okay, this part I'm using Americana multi-surface satin. The only reason I'm using this, got a great deal on it, and I used it for my tunnels, so I had a bunch left over. You want gloves, because it's messy. And you need just a cheap paintbrush. Once you paint everything, I'm not going to do it right now because I already got one painted to show you. You paint it. I let it dry overnight. I just feel it's better to instead of putting the coal load right on the paint, I like to do it with a glue base so that way I can keep the sides nice, pretty much clean. It won't be perfect, but it'll be a lot cleaner and a lot easier to clean up afterwards. So since I don't have a dry black one yet, I am going to do I'm going to show you what I do here. And for this, sorry about that, use Elmer's glue for the initial coating to put the coal on. For the coal, I use Woodland Scenics Mine Run Coal. And I got a 50-50 mix of water and Elmer's glue. So what I do, I take full strength Elmer's glue and I just squeeze it on. Don't have to be perfect. And you know what? This will be good to use gloves on this too because it can get kind of messy with the glue. And you just paint the glue on full strength. And you put a container of coal and you just dip it in and you want to roll it around in the coal. Make sure you lift, I like to lift both ends. So get all the ends in there, make sure all the way around is done. And you come out with a load of coal. And of course, with this you see the pink, but when it's black you don't see any of the pink. What I like to do then, I let it sit and dry. Once it's dry, I take my 50-50 mix of glue and water and I just spray it down. And I take my paintbrush, and I like to just dab it all around on the coal. Sorry this is coming off, it's still wet because of the glue. And I just let that sit overnight. And it's kind of ugly at the moment, but that's just because I don't have a black one that's ready to paint. Or I'm sorry, a black one that's dry and ready to put coal on. But after it's done, I take my fingers, I run along the sides, it breaks any coal that might have hit the sides, so it fits back in the hopper. Your finished product will look very similar to this. And another thing I like to do once everything's dry, I like to take the sanding block and hit the ends. Just bevel them just a little bit. And when you do that, it fits nice and deep, nice and good into the bed, or into the hopper, I'm sorry. And you get a nice little coal in. I hope that helped. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I can try and explain it best I can. Have a good night.